so we're going to be working on some hip openers today. And I wanted to use the foam roller, if you've got your foam roller, and a ball. If you don't have a foam roller and a ball, I'm just going to get you to continue with your breathing while we go through that part. So I'm going to set us up for the breathing, and we're going to start with that. We're going to do about 5 minutes of breathing today before we get started. So come into a comfortable seated position, whether that's cross-legged or kneeling, and your palms can be face down or palms facing up. If you choose palm facing up, you can take your first finger and thumb, placing them together. And then I just invite you to close your eyes. And we're going to take a big deep breath in through the nose. Breathe out and sigh through the mouth. Big deep breath in through the nose. Breathe out and sigh. We'll do that one more time. Big deep breath in. And breathe out. Now we're going to add on to this breath. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in for the count of 4. Hold the inhale for the count of 4. Exhale for 4. Hold the exhale for the count of 4. We'll just keep repeating that. So go ahead and close your eyes. We're going to start with one inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. And then inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, or hold the exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep going at your own pace. Remember, if you can't quite get to 4 on either of the holds, don't worry, just release or inhale whenever you need to. Wherever you're at, take a big deep breath in, deep breath out. Now we're going to try to elongate the breath, but this time without any holds on the inhale or the exhale. So you're going to breathe in for the count of 7 and then exhale for the count of 7. Again, if you don't quite make it to that 7 on either the inhale or the exhale, don't worry, just go as far as you can. All right, we're going to close our eyes, take a big deep breath in through the nose, breathe out through the nose, and then inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and continuing at your own pace. Most important thing to remember here is trying to make your inhales equal to your exhales. So if you're not quite making it to 7 on the inhale, try to make your exhale equal in length. And then wherever you're at, take a big deep breath in. Deep breath out through the mouth, exhale. You can just stay here with the eyes closed for a moment, just feeling the effects of that breathing. No need to alter your breath. And then whenever you're ready, you can slowly open the eyes. So we are going to come into some foam rolling techniques first. And again, if you don't have a foam roller, you can always just come back to those breathing. So choosing either the 4 with the inhale and hold, or the exhale and hold, or the higher count, 7 in and 7 out. All right, so we're going to start with rolling our glutes. So first I'll demonstrate with the foam roller, and then if you have a ball, you can use that as well. So depending on, it doesn't really matter the size of your foam roller, if you've got a half one like I do or a full one, what you're going to do is sit on it. We're going to start by rolling out our left butt cheek. So my bottom left knee is going to be bent. And I'm shifting both these can be bent, sorry. And you're just gonna shift your weight over onto your left glute. Trying to get into that meaty part right at the side. So gluteus medius, maybe might be hitting a bit of the maximus, depending on if you're using a full roller or the half roller, might be digging into that as well. So just staying on the side, just breathing in and out as you're rolling up and down on that foam roller. Now, you can stay just moving up and down until you find a trigger point. If you find a trigger point so it just feels like a sharp, kind of pain-like sensation, you can stay there and you can actually just hold it, or you can just move slightly side to side, kind of just rocking back and forth slightly. Seeing if you breathe into that tight area. Every time you breathe out, think about relaxing that part of the body. And if you need to move or shift your position, you can always try to come up a little bit higher on the foam roller so you're getting a little bit lower into the glute. So if you have a ball, you could do this same type of motion. The ball, either a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball, using it to get into the kind of the arc or the archway of the hip bone. Still working on that glute. Just rolling along until you find, again, that trigger point. Again, option to stay there and just hold, or just make little movements, either forward and back or side to side. We're just gonna stay on this one side for about 30 more seconds, and then we'll switch and do the other glute. So if you have a tennis ball at home, but you don't have a foam roller, you can still use that tennis ball to roll up the fascia tissue in those glutes. Okay, so we're gonna come over to the other side, putting back on my foam roller. Again, just on one side of the glute, have your knees bent and just rolling up and down, as high or as low as you need to, until you find, or if you find a trigger point option, to stay there. Again, just staying on that trigger point, or just moving side to side. An option to use that ball, whether it's a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball. You can probably use a hockey ball. And just rolling around the muscles of the glute on that right side until you find that trigger point for you. Once you do, breathe into it and release. Just breathing and relaxing. Perfect. And then we're going to come into the IT bands. So again, using the foam roller first. So I'm going to stay on this right side. I'm going to come down onto my elbow, and I'm going to place that foam roller just at the top of my hip, right along the side. So I'm going to take my left leg, place it forward so my foot is on the ground and my bottom leg is straight. Then I'm just going to roll up and down. I'm going to stay in the top part of that side of the leg first, just feeling any tension that might be there. And again, staying in that tension spot, or moving just side to side, just rocking. Breathing as you do this. Deep inhales, deep exhales. Then we can come to a different part of the thigh, part of the IT band. Again, rocking side to side. Some people find the insert closer to the insertion points a bit more tender, so either closer to the knee or closer to the top of the thigh. And again, you can always use a ball instead of a foam roller. Might be a bit more intense, but it'll still work. Just trying to follow that line from the top of your hip to the knee. We'll just stay here for about 30 more seconds, and then we'll switch to the other side. Coming over onto your opposite side or left side. Starting with that foam roller, if you have it, you can always start with the ball. Coming down onto your elbow, left leg goes straight, right leg comes comes up so your foot is flat. You can start at the top of the hip, close to the hip bone, and you can move side to side, rocking back and forth. Making your way down. Remember to breathe, especially in the areas of high tension, tightness. Oh, wonderful. If you want to go into there with the ball as well, you can. Otherwise, I'm going to come down. I'm going to lay on your side. So take your foam roller with you, and you want it to be vertical or horizontal to the side of your mat. We're going to work the inner thigh, so rolling out into those muscles that could get tight. So you're going to place the foam roller just starting at the top of the knee, and you're going to roll, pushing down with your leg into that foam roller. Arms just can be straight. You can relax that head if you like. And again, if you find a trigger point, you can also just rotate, so lifting that leg up and down. So internal and external rotation, just to roll the tendons, the fascia tissue over that foam roller. If you want to get a bit deeper, you can grab a block, place it on the ground horizontally, and then place the ball on top of the block. And then you're just going to place your leg on top of that ball, following that same line. Spence gets in there a little bit more isolating, a little bit more deeper. Those muscles in the inner thighs get really tight. This is where it can pull, cause tightness in that knee. So once you find a trigger point for using the ball, you can also do this technique with the foam roller. You can extend the leg straight and slowly bend it back. Just another way to get it to roll over in that tight area. You can change your spot, change the location of that ball. You can always go back to the rolling. Beautiful. Then we're going to slowly come up to the other side. Start with the foam rolling if you'd like. Forward and back. And then if you want to switch to that block and the ball, placing that block just at knee level and the ball on top of it. Rolling until you find a trigger point. And then option to just extend that leg out. And bring it back. And we're just going to do one more foam rolling technique to roll out to those legs to help open up those hips when we get into those poses. So we're going to do the front of the quads. So taking your foam roller, So if you have a big one, you can probably do both thighs at the same time. Otherwise, it's doing one leg at a time. Coming onto your elbows, and you're just gonna roll up and down the thigh. Again, you can do this with your ball as well. It's just gonna be a little bit more isolating, a little bit more specific. And then you can always bend your knee if you're on that one, or you can just move the foam roll over to the side so you're just working one leg at a time and just rotating internally, externally over that foam roller. And then we can switch to the other side. And then if you want to bend that knee, and just externally, rotate internally. Beautiful. Actually, there's one last one I want to do with the ball. I'm going to try to get into that hip flexor. So you can take your block, place the ball on top of it. This just adds some height. And you're going to place the ball right into the crease of your hip. So you can place that ball on top of the block, coming back down onto the elbows. And finding that spot right in the crease of the hip. And try to relax over the ball. And then little movements, you can just move from side to side. It might take a minute for you to find that trigger point spot, but once you do, you can just let the body kind of relax over the ball if that's not too intense for you. And just kind of moving slightly side to side. I find it easier than moving forward and back, but you can try what works best for you. And give it a try on the right side. Big inhale, big exhale. Perfect. All right, we're going to come into our first pose, which is actually a supported child pose. So you can use your blocks or your pillow. I just want you to place your pillow or your blocks in front of you, taking your knees wide. So one trick I have, if you have your pillow or pillows, just depending on how high you want to be at, you can take your block and place it at the top. And this way you can take your hands and rest them underneath the pillows. This makes it a little bit higher for you as well. So if you have using your pillows and your block that way, or you can use your two blocks or one block and just placing it underneath the forehead, extending those arms out in front of you. Whichever pose position you'd like to take in that pose. And we're going to stay here for to one side, I'll let you know when we get to the halfway point, you can turn your head to the other side. Otherwise, if you want to keep the head straight, that's an option as well. All right. Taking those knees wide, tuck that tailbone under so that your hips are coming towards your heels. Turning your head to one side, arms extend out beside you. Or if you've used that technique of the block underneath, you can just hug your pillow. Big inhale, big exhale. Let your body, let your knees sink deep, let those knees fall wide. Letting those hips open with every exhale. And with every inhale, you take that oxygen. Take anywhere in the body that you might feel some tightness or resistance. If you have your head turned to one side, go ahead and turn it to the other side now. Wherever you are, take a big deep breath in. And we're going to slowly bring your hands back to underneath your shoulders from whatever position you have them in. Slowly just raise your chest up off of your block or the ground or your pillow. I'm just going to move it out to the side. We slowly make our way onto our hands and knees. Knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. I'm going to do a quick cat-cow here, so looking up, let that belly hang down, inhale. As you tuck the tailbone under, exhale. From here, we're going to make circles to the right with those hips, going all the way back, making that kind of cat-cow motion as you rotate the hips to the right side first. So hips go up and out, and then tuck back underneath. And then we're going to switch directions, so going to the left, pushing that hip to the left side. Beautiful, nice. So for our next pose, we're going to come into pigeon. So I'm going to be using my bolster or pillow. You can also use your block for this one. So I'm just going to take my pillow to the right side of my mat. And I'm just going to place my hip, my right glute, on top of my pillow. Then I'm going to take my right knee, and if your pillow is long enough, your knee should be on top of that pillow as well. So your leg, the front of your leg doesn't need to be perpendicular to the mat. You can also just stay bent. Just depends on the flexibility of your hip. Back leg, option to stay at that 90 degrees as well, or you can extend that leg straight back behind you. And once you find this position, you can start by propping yourself up onto your hands. And this might be deep enough for you. If you'd like to, you can walk your hands further forward and just folding over that hip. Option to take a block and place it underneath the forehead. And staying in your pose. If you don't have a pillow or a bolster, you can also do this by using a block. So just taking your block, take it over to the right side, placing your right hip on top of the block, taking your right knee forward. So your knee might be off the ground, that's okay. Again, option to keep that right leg, left leg at 90 degrees or extend it straight back behind you. And then folding forward over that right knee. Inhale and exhale. So this is going to be deeper if you're using the block as opposed to a pillow. You're just a little bit closer to the ground. You can just relax the head and the neck. Big inhale, big exhale. Taking a big inhale in and exhale. Slowly bring that back leg in. And then slowly coming off your block or your pillow. Just come into a quick child's pose here, letting the forehead come down. Big inhale, big exhale. 2 more like that. And then slowly coming up, and we're going to take our props and move them to the left side of our mat. So whether you're using your block or you're using your pillow, just take it to the right beside the left hip, left glute, and place that left glute on top. If you're using your pillow, try to make sure that that knee is supported by your pillow as well. Back leg can stay at 90 degrees or extend straight back behind you. And then option to stay upright or slowly make your way down onto those elbows. I'm gonna stay here for 3 minutes. So find an comfortable position to stay in. You can relax that head. And you're trying to drop your right hip towards the ground, rotating so that your hips are square to the ground. So the more that you rotate that right hip towards the ground, you might feel a bit deeper stretch in that left glute, in that left hip. Slowly take a big inhale in as you slowly start to walk up. If you have chosen to fold forward, pull that back leg in, making your way onto your hands and knees. Again, making some little circles with those hips to the right side, and then to the left. And then we're going to come to a seated position. So we're going to do the fire log hip opener. So I like to sit on a block just to elevate my hips because my hips are so tight. You can have the option to sit on the floor, sit on a pillow. I'm starting with my legs just crossed in front of me. I'm going to start with my right leg coming out in front. And this time I do want the right leg to be perpendicular to the front of my mat. And then my left leg, I'm just going to pick it up. I'm actually going to try to cradle it in my right arm. So I'm going to bring that foot in, resting it on the inner thigh, inner arm, and then I'm going to wrap my left arm over my knee and pulling it in towards my chest, bringing my chest out. You can also grab onto the foot, grab onto the knee, bring that chest up. Me trying to reach a little bit further, just pulls that leg a little bit higher, a little bit closer towards me. Still trying to keep that chest up, not rounding through the back, sinking in, and just making little pivot motion side to side, trying to open up that head. Now, if this is enough for you, you can stay here. Otherwise, you can try to drop that left foot on top of the right thigh, just releasing. You can take those arms down behind you, leaning back, and just pushing the legs down towards the ground. This will actually feel a little bit more of an opener into the right hip down on the ground, and I'm pushing my left knee down, so I might feel a hip opener on that left side. Otherwise, you can sit up, trying to expand that chest upward. If you can still keep that chest lifted as you reach forward, you can do that as well. You'll feel a little bit more into that left hip as opposed to the right hip. And to stay here, big deep breath in, or wherever you're at. If you're holding your leg, if your leg is placed on top, big inhale, big exhale. One more minute here. And then slowly releasing. And before we move into the other side, just want you to sit here with the legs released, palms on top of the thighs. Just take a big deep breath in, deep breath out. We'll do 2 more like that. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Now I want you to take your left leg and just take it out in front of you, away from you, so it's not actually close to you. And trying to make your left shin perpendicular, horizontal to your mat. And then taking your right leg, either holding the right knee with the right hand, the left hand on that right foot, and bringing it up, pulling it close towards your chest. If that's enough for you, you can just stay there. You can add that rocking motion side to side, or trying to cup that foot into your arm, arms lifting it up, pulling it towards you. And if you have enough flexibility to rest that foot on top of your left thigh, staying there, option to bring the hands back behind you. Still opening up the chest and trying to relax the hips with the breath. You might notice the difference between the sides. One side a little less flexible than the other, and that's okay. Other options to come forward, hands still down beside you, opening up that chest. Might feel a little bit deeper into that right hip area, glute. Or you can fold forward, just try not to round through the back, still open up through that chest. Big inhale. Big exhale. And then slowly take a big inhale in and exhale. One more inhale, removing that leg if you've placed it on top. And just relaxing here in that seated position. Big inhale, big exhale. 2 more. And last one. From here, we're going to make our way onto our backs. So using your blocks or your pillow for this one, just have them handy. So I'm going to use my pillow for this one. So I'm going to come into a supported bridge pose. So I'm going to start with my feet flat, about hip distance apart. I'm going to lift my hips up so you can lift your heels up, so coming up onto your toes to give you enough height to place those pillows or those blocks or block underneath your sacrum. I'm going to start by extending my left leg straight out and letting that relax there. I'm going to do one leg at a time, and then if it feels comfortable for you, you can let both legs extend. So we're going to stay here in this position position just with the one leg extended for about a minute. You can keep your hands on your belly or arms down beside you. Closing the eyes. Letting those glutes relax, legs relax. Letting all the muscles in the lower body just release and relax. They're completely supported by either your blocks or your pillow. Now slowly start to bend that left knee and slowly extend the right leg straight. Take a big inhale in, slowly pull that right heel back. So now both knees are bent. Option to stay here or extending both legs straight out. Whatever feels best for your lower back, for your hips. This is a great opener for the front of the body. Also great stretch or support for that lower back. Big inhale, big exhale. I'm going to get you to take a big inhale and exhale. And then inhale again, slowly start to bring those heels back towards your body. You can just stay here for 2 breaths if you've extended those legs. And then you can slowly start to lift those hips up, moving your props out of the way. Letting your legs go straight down. Stay here for 3 breaths. Just letting the body relax. We just have one final pose. For this one, we're actually going to come up to a seated position. So you can roll a little over to one side and just push yourself up. So counter pose to that, we're just going to come into a forward fold. So you can have your feet in a butterfly position. Option to take your pillow or your block. You can place your block right between the thighs and between the feet. Then fold forward. If you can fold forward far enough, you can place your forehead on top of that block. So your diamond doesn't need to be really close to you. You can actually have your diamond quite long. Hands on either side of your feet or resting on top of them. And again, resting that forehead down on top of the block. You can also put two blocks on top of one and the other. You can also use your bolster or your pillow. You can place it on top of the feet. Forehead can rest, arms can rest inside the legs. This one is obviously a little bit more restorative in that forward bend. So it just depends on if you want to go a little bit deeper or a little bit easier. Just feel into what your body needs tonight. For this one, you can let that back round. Take a big inhale, big exhale. Let your shoulders relax, let the muscles in the neck release. And just take a big inhale in. We're going to slowly make our way up. We're going to actually make our way into our Shavasana. So if you want to grab your props, if you have a blanket that you want to put over yourself or pillows behind the back of the knees. Taking your time to come into that final relaxation pose. Letting the legs go wide, toes fall out to the side, palms facing up. Tucking that tailbone under so your back is flat into the mat. Get an option to rest those hands on top of the belly or open up those palms up. Here I'd like you to take a big deep breath in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth and sigh. Big inhale through the nose. Exhale and sigh. Now no need to force the breath, just letting it release and relax. Just being aware of it. I just want you to bring your awareness to your face, right into that facial area. So what I want you to do is we're going to squeeze our face muscles really, really tight. We're going to hold it for 3 seconds and then let it completely relax. We're going to do this going down the body. Each time you move down, we're relaxing deeper and deeper. So starting with the face, you're going to squint your eyes, you're going to curl your nose, you're going to scrunch up your your mouth and hold for 3, 2, 1, and then slowly letting it all release and relax. And then bring those shoulders up towards the ears and squeeze, hold for 3, 2, 1, and then slowly let those shoulders relax and release. And then to the belly, you're going to pull the belly button in, push the back into the mat, hold for 3, 2, 1, and then slowly let it fall out, let it release. And then the glutes, you're going to squeeze your butt cheeks together, hold for 3, 2, 1, and then slowly let them soften and completely sink into the mat. Next, we'll do the quads. So you can straighten out those legs, engage those quads. You can flex the feet, push down to the heels for 3, 2, 1, and then slowly release. And then the toes, so you're going to curl those toes, curl, curl, curl. You can curl your hands too if you'd like. Make fists, hold for 3, 2, 1, and slowly let the hands release, let the toes release. And then just take one more big inhale in and sigh through the mouth. Letting that body feel completely relaxed, completely supported by the ground underneath you. If you'd like to stay in your Shavasana, I invite you to do so. Otherwise, we're going to start to wake up the body by wiggling the toes and the fingertips. You can reach the arms up over your head. Take a big deep breath in. Reach the arms, reach the toes, and release. And then slowly bring your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a big hug. And then we're going to fall to one side or the other. Stay here for 3 breaths. And then slowly make your way up to that seated position. And we're going to end with 1 Om. So you bring your hands together in that prayer position, resting it on the chest. Close the eyes. We're going to take 1 inhale in, exhale out, and then inhale, and Namaste.